Alright guys, what is going on? Oink here, and of course it is Thursday. We have some brand new seasonal events. These are the time trial events, of course. However, this week we have a special Gran Turismo 15th anniversary time trial, and this is the event that I'm going to be covering this week. I'm going to be skipping over the other two sections for this week's run, and just focus on this one. We have a Nissan GTR N24 on the Nurburg 24-hour ring. It's supposed to recreate the first qualifying session of the 2012 Nurburg 24-hour event that, of course, Kazunori Yamauchi was driving in, so it's a time of day. The prize for this is the GTR Black Edition Tuned, which was only available in the 2012 Academy app if you got all of the golds and stuff like that, so it's a pretty special event if you don't have that car, because it's pretty limited access to get that particular car. Just to show you though, the other time trials is a SS5 on Italian cars and a GT500 at Fuji. Anyway, we're going to get straight in. For this one I've gone with the cockpit view because, I mean, I don't know that there are any racing games that do the Nurburgring better than Gran Turismo does, especially when you're on one of the change time of day ones. This is sort of, I'm not quite sure, it's either sort of early morning or late afternoon because there's some really long shadows, the sun is quite low down, and so you do have to watch out because the light can be a bit of a deceiving. You got to know your corner entries and stuff because the track does look quite significantly different when the lighting is completely different to what you're used to. Not to mention that you've got all the people around the side of the corners, which isn't normally how it goes. Anyway, we start off, by the way, with this car is set up with racing softs up front and racing mediums at the back, so it handles a little bit strange. If you go under braking, if you trail brake too much, or throttle into braking, you'll find that the car actually oversteers quite a lot. So you want to generally be braking in a straight line and then accelerating out. It has a little bit of understeer on the acceleration, but it has really nice turning. I mean, if you get the speed and the entry just right into the corner, I mean, this car has no oversteer on acceleration if you're just accelerating out of a corner, so you can really put your foot down through the corners, and it's a really good fun car. I find it's actually easier to drive once you get into the Nordschleife section of this track. The GP portion of it, a little bit tougher. I guess the car is not set up predominantly for that, but mainly for the Nordschleife section, so once you get in there, things get a little bit more relaxed and you can just get a nice flow going. Anyway, as I said, the gold for this is a 915, and you're going to be winning that Nissan GTR Black Edition Tuned, which is awesome. As I said, only previously available from golding stuff in the 2012 Academy app, which they released for free a while back, which is obviously now closed. So if you didn't get it then, now is your perfect opportunity to pick one of these up. Now the time you need to achieve for gold is a 915, which, if I'm honest, I mean, it's difficult to tell like how difficult that is if you don't find the Nurburgring difficult. Some people absolutely hate this track or don't have much experience, have limited experience with the track, and then therefore maybe 915 is, a relatively difficult time to achieve. For me, I've driven this track quite a lot. I know the track off by heart. The track for me isn't a problem, and the car, once you've just driven it for 10-15 minutes, you kind of get the feel for it, and then you can really go hit your golden lap, or go for a real proper shot at this. And I cleared the gold time by an absolute mile. You'll see on the leaderboards that the guy in first, at least when I did it, was at like 8 minutes 30, I think, roughly 8.5 minutes. So I mean, there's obviously masses of time in there to be found if you do have the speed and you do, you understand the track. Anyway, if I explained cockpit, yeah, I was going to say GT5, I mean, it's so fun. It's so fun driving this track in cockpit view. It feels so, like, I don't know, it's really immersive, I don't know. Anyway, so I thought I'd chuck it in cockpit because it is just epic in cockpit, especially with a car like this, which actually has pretty decent sounding engine compared to some of the cars in GT5. Now, obviously, I'm guessing most people have all seen the GT6 news. Of course, there's all of the trailer and all of the information, new cars that have been shown. I did my, sort of breakdown of the trailer myself on my channel. If you haven't seen that, that's goes through the whole of the trailer that they revealed, and you know, all of the new cars and bits and bobs like that. Obviously things like Silverstone into the game, it's going to be awesome, so I'm super hyped for that. And release date schedule is holiday of this year, so we're looking at a Christmas time, roughly Christmas time release, and it is of course on PS3. That is just information for those of you that don't know, whilst this lap continues. Now the first half of this lap was pretty aggressive. I was driving, you know, as fast as I could, really. Obviously the later on in the lap you go, the less time you've had to practice that part of the combination. So for example, you know, if I mucked up a few times early on, I will have done the early section 10 times, whereas the late section only twice or something. So the first half here, I was really pushing my time, and I had some really nice smooth lines, a decent acceleration, made almost no major errors, or basically no minor errors. I mean, I'm not saying by any way that this is a perfect lap, you know, this is a long way off. I think I'm about 20 seconds short of the guy in first, but I will say that my time was something like 400th. It's gonna shoot right down as more people do this event, but it was literally the first time that I actually did a whole lap, and I was happy with it. So my first completed lap, so yeah, I mean, it was a decent time. I could easily take a good 10 seconds off, I would say, if I spent a bit more time just practicing the event. But you know what I'm like, I just tend to get the gold and leave it at that, and then show you guys where you can pick up a gold. Anyway, coming into this fast section, just be careful. Places like this can really catch you out. You just want to take it nice and safe. As I say almost every time that there's an event on Nurburgring, you're better off playing it safe. You don't need to go 100%. Oh, by the way, just listen to the sound on this engine. I did some editing on the audio as well. Have a listen to this. There you go. I don't know if you heard that. I was just fiddling around with the audio there. Like, I added a whole load of bass and it sounded really gritty. I don't know. There is so much they could do with the audio. I mean, the car sounds okay, as you could hear, but in that little clip I just, like, as I said, applied some effects. I think it sounded awesome. It was all like gravelly and stuff. Like, I mean, I don't understand why they couldn't make the sound so much better. It wouldn't really be that difficult, I swear. Anyway, there it is. Just thought I'd show you that because that was quite funny. I was just playing around and I was just like, wow, this car could sound so cool. And yeah, well, sadly the sounds are a bit lacking in this game. Anyway, that's not what this is about. Let's get on with it. Right, so there was the carousel. Again, as I was saying just previously to that, you're better off playing this just nice and safe, especially you can see second half here. I take it a bit more conservatively. I obviously had less practice at this end of the track, so I wasn't 100% confident through all of these corners where I was more confident earlier on in the lap. So I was a little bit slower here. You can see a bit hesitant, kind of early turn in there. And that's what you'll find, but the main thing is, and this is what I was saying, that I always say about Nurburg, is you're better off just taking it easy and just making sure you stay on the track and just keeping a good steady pace, as opposed to pushing all out and being, making more mistakes or whatnot and then having to retry and all of this kind of stuff. Because at the end of the day, if you put in, a decently fast lap which has no mistakes, chances are it's going to be well within gold. And if you're not bothered about getting a good standing on the rankings board, then that's all you need to do. And then obviously if you want to really push your time, that's when you can start pushing the car to the limits, and using the track to its full width, all that kind of stuff, which you don't really need to do to just get a gold, which is what you'll probably see. These last few turns have been a little bit slower, but the first half was actually pretty quick, I think. I mean, it seemed fast when I was driving it. And then we'll get to the final long straight here, and we head down this big long final straight. Now the main thing to watch out for when you come to the end here is that, as I said at the start of this video, this car can be a little bit funky under braking, due to the fact that it's got the split tyre compound. You've got the mediums at the back and the softs at the front, so it can kind of flick out on you and get a little bit crazy when you're under hard braking, or if you're braking and turning at the same time, which is why I was saying better to brake in a straight line. So I can see I'm easily going to make gold, so I just sort of slowly bring the pace down, brake a bit, shift into fourth, bring it in, and I can see that I've got a bit more space, so I just accelerate down a bit, then brake again, and it's just really controlled. There's never any sense of you know, the car losing grip or whatever, so just a nice controlled brake into the finish, and you can see I get an 8:52.53. As I said, it was about 400th, but that was today, so I mean that'll go down. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoy that event. I love driving Nurburgring every time. So there it is. Like I said, I'll see you guys soon, and enjoy this one. Peace.